Today I'm going to make my wife happy, at least a little bit happier. A few years ago when I built these shelves here, I promised her that I will also build some kind of rack for our wine bottles. That was about 2 years ago. Here at the moment are part of our wine bottles. In the carton boxes, not very practical way to store these bottles. My plan was that I'm going to build some rack here and also here. Many times in my videos I said that I like more darker wood, so in this case I'm going to use a wood called Acacia, Akazie. I don't know how to say it and pronounce it. I think it looks pretty good, and also it's a little bit cheaper than this kind of a normal wood. The size of this board is 800 by 600 millimeters. Thickness is 18 millimeters. I bought 2 of those, and this time I'm going to build only one wine rack and later the second one. 94. That doesn't matter much. 50. But this one is important. 35. So the wine bottle is about 75. So the question is how much space I need here that it's still stable. And I think 3 centimeters. I will cut this with my table saw. Then I will drill holes here with 8 centimeter drill bit, this kind of thing. After these holes, I will cut this half. Should I now drill these holes? I think I anyway have to use my hand drill. It went already through. Oh yeah. I just bought this drill bit. It was brand new, very sharp, but it was still very hard for this drill. It was getting crazy hot, but in the end it survived. To this front panel I will drill these holes exactly to the same place what I did to this other one. Only difference is that I will drill these holes smaller, and I'm going to use 35 millimeter drill bit with these holes. I won't drill now all the way through. I want to drill this other side also. Clean your cut. So it's going to be about like this. To build the end parts of this rack, I cut this board to 60 millimeter slices. These pieces are coming like that in the middle, both sides, and now I have to measure this part, so it should be about like this, 15 centimeters. I'm going to use wooden plugs and wood glue. All the spots are now measured and marked for the wooden plugs. This is actually a great tool for this kind of job. It came with some wood glue and different drill bits, 6, 8 and 10 millimeters. Only problem is that because it's plastic, it's kind of bending and moving, so that's why I have this clamp here. It's more stable, but otherwise it's a great tool. Okay, these are now ready to glue. Few things you have to remember. Drill these holes deep enough. If these holes are not deep enough, then it's impossible to push together. There will be a gap. I drilled these holes maybe 1 or 2 millimeter deeper than these plugs are coming out, so it's easier to put together. I kind of like these clamps, but in these kind of things, these are not powerful enough. These clamps are great for these kind of things, these are so strong. That's going to be interesting.
With this first one I was struggling so much. In the end I had to use my strongest clamps what I had. But finally I managed to squeeze these pieces together. The second one was much more easier. I don't know what was the difference, but that was much easier to do.
Okay. Finally, let the glue dry.
This board was already oiled from the factory. I still wanted to give a small basic sanding to all these pieces.
This time I'm not going to use wooden plugs, I'm going to use screws to attach these pieces together. When I know that the distance between these two holes is exactly 25 millimeters, for me it's now easy to mark these pilot hose places also to these woods. Of course I have to measure the middle point, this direction, and then I can just measure 25 millimeters. Very simple stuff. There and there. These holes I'm just going to drill by hand. I can't fit this into my table drill. I just have to try to keep it straight as possible. I'm also going to use some wood glue here, so it will give a little bit more stability. I clamped it to the table that it will stay straight. Next I will put this upper level. I will let this dry a little bit. Then I will remove these clamps and do this middle level. Now all these middle parts are attached. I used only screws with these. Next I will put some feet under these pieces.
This oil is for work tables.
there's no color, it will give some protection. I think that looks pretty good after this oil. So, how did I do? I think it looks great. I can fit here 21 bottles. It cost me to build about 40 Swiss francs. I could save some money if I would use some cheaper wood. I love how this wood looks. Like I said, I can fit here 21 bottles in a small space, and that was my goal. The secret is that obviously I can't fit these bottles like this, like a normal way. I have to use this kind of a backwards. And let's make this even. And now I can fit these bottles here. The question is that can this hold all 21 bottles? Let's find out. No problems to hold all these bottles. This is not even bending at all. Now I have to build a second one, and I will build it here. I can actually even build it higher, maybe with 5 levels, and I could, because there's now more space, I could even calculate more space between these layers, that I can use these bottles this way. Only problem is that if I will build it here, my wife is quite short, so it's a little bit hard to reach those bottles. She's not that short. That's pretty much it. Very easy DIY project for anyone. I think anyone could build this in a one day or have a weekend project. You can buy already these kind of slices of wood, what you can use if you don't have a table saw or something like that. Only thing, of course, you have to drill these holes. For this you need kind of a special drill bit, but those are quite cheap also. Okay, thank you guys for watching this video, and see you next time. Bye. And by the way, my wife liked it, so I'm happy, she's happy. That's a good thing.